Start your business for the freedom of time. Now you're tired of the hustle and grind. There's gotta be a better way. It's time to listen to Chill and Prosper. Welcome to Chill and Prosper. You're ready to chill and prosper with Denise Duffield-Thomas.
Hi there, gorgeous. It's Denise here, and welcome to this week's episode of Chill and Prosper, where we're talking about some of the little audits and assessments that I'm doing in my business at the moment to make sure that we are doing the right thing, that we're serving the right people, and that we're being useful and helpful, but also that we're not creating extra work for our team, that we're streamlining and all of those good things. So there is a download for this one too. So if you go to denisedt.com/assessment, you'll be able to download an assessment that you can do for your business as well. And I'm not going to go through it exactly, what's in that form, but I'm just going to, talk to you about what I'm doing. And if you need help with that, then you can do that. So denisedt.com/assessment. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this time of year, and in particularly this phase of life for me in my business, if you followed the last couple of years, you know that, like I started my money boot camp in 2012. I kind of grew very fast and like doubled my business for years and years. And then released my books and stuff. And then in the last year and a half, I had a bit of a sabbatical. And some people might not have noticed because, of course, I batched my podcast in advance and put all that out. But I really did feel like not that let me see what I'm trying to say here. Because I can feel my ego going, no, you didn't go away. But I do feel like people did notice. There was just a bit of where has she gone? And I needed a little bit of a mental break, but also just to reassess, right? So now that I'm kind of back and I've gone, what's useful and helpful? My role in the business is very, very clear. So I do these podcasts. I can't outsource that. I can't have a puppet of Denise. I can't do AI. I'm sure you would notice if I'm using AI to make my podcasts. I show up, I do the know, like, and trust factor. Hi. This podcast then creates a lot of other content for the business. So it creates our newsletters, it creates emails that go out. I don't always do those myself. My team just takes these and I just have to trust. I don't always have to write it all myself, if that makes sense. And also I'm back doing interviews. So that's my role in the business. I'm not doing a lot of speaking on stages. I'm not going to a lot of conferences, but I'm doing my podcast and I'm back doing interviews. And of course, the whole time I've been doing my money bootcamp calls. That being said, there's still a lot of complication that grows in the business. So when you've been around for as long as I have, you end up with a million opt-ins. You end up with a lot of content. And also, it's really hard to keep on top of every channel. So if you go to my Pinterest page, it just looks a bit disorganized. Things like the covers of the boards don't look great. If you go to my YouTube channel, I repurpose stuff there, but I haven't created a lot of stuff for YouTube. TikTok is one of those things where I've experimented and I just chuck things over, but I don't interact there a lot. And so the longer you've been around in business, there can be a lot of bloat, but also you can very easily get a little bit off track. And I think where I've gotten off track is because I'm doing a podcast every week, I'm always trying to find, what's the new and exciting thing that I can talk about? And sometimes that then takes me off track to what I'm really here to do. And I'm here to help people with their money blocks so you can make money, change the world, okay? Break the cycles in your own family, all of those things. And it's very tempting for me to go off track a little bit and talk about specific business things and marketing and all that kind of stuff, and to almost forget to go back to those basics, but also forget to tell people I've got a money boot camp. It becomes a bit of a, you just go into different kind of rabbit holes. Here's the analogy actually that I want to make. So I used to play a lot of Farmville kind of games and Candy Crush and stuff like that. And I still play Gardenscapes when I just need to make my brain. And sometimes I'll play it, but I'm not looking at what I'm supposed to do. So sometimes it's like, oh, you need to match all of the rabbits, or you need to match all of the things. And I'm just mindlessly matching things and then going, oh, why didn't I win that level? Why didn't I move on? And it's because I don't know what I'm playing for. And so every now and again in my business, I need to go, what am I playing for? And maybe this episode has come at the right time for you too, where you've just gone, hang on, I've gone off on a few different tangents, or I've created things that people said they wanted, or I'm doing this because I said I was going to, but what am I playing for? Am I actually matching the right things? Am I going in the right direction? It's easy to get off track. Okay. So this is why I'm doing this kind of a little bit of an audit in my business at the moment to go, where am I going? Is everything on track? Okay. So that takes a little bit of a process to do. It takes some thinking and it takes some time to do it. Sometimes we do not have that time. And so don't beat yourself up if you have gone a little bit off track, or if your business has got a bit messy, because that usually happens when you're growing. And sometimes you're just like, I'm making hay, I'm going where the energy takes me, I'm going where the money is at the moment, or I'm going where the clients are, and I don't have bandwidth to sit and think about it. And when you get a chance to sit and think, this is when you can kind of go, oh, what staff do we need, and what launches are coming up and all that kind of stuff. It's a really great time to have that space, but most of the time we don't. Okay, so let's just start from the start. So remember that spreadsheet is denisedt.com/assessment. I'm going through this at the moment. Okay, so don't overcomplicate it. It's a very simple spreadsheet. You don't have to make it special or pretty and procrastinate on it. It's literally just what's some basic information that you need. And I need to do this as well because I don't always know the information. Okay, so some of the things that you can go through is a little bit of a snapshot of where am I right now? What's the state of play before you make changes? And so I like to do things like record, what's my newsletter list at this time? Like how many people have we got on my newsletter list? Yes, we do clean that as well, which you can absolutely do, but sometimes even just going, either I'm going to do this once a month or once a quarter, or even just where we're at right now. Don't even wait for like the start of the month. Now, something like your newsletter size, that is really important, okay? Because if you do have a launch coming up, your list size is a direct reflection of what those results are going to be. And we can game it out all the time. And I often have mentioned this, but when Mark was first in my business, he did his first launch and he said, what results do you think we got? And I said, just tell me the newsletter size at the moment. And he was like this. And I went, did the numbers and I went, I think we would have got about this many sales. And he's like, how do you know? And I go, well, I know we've roughly got about a 25% open rate. I know it's like about a 10% click-through rate. I know our sales pages convert at like 1 to 3%. So I think it's about this. And it was like a magic trick, but it wasn't. It was just data. And sometimes we're scared to look. Sometimes we're just like, oh, it should be better. And anytime I've grown anything in my business, it's because I've tracked it, I've paid attention to it, and I just put a little bit of intention to it. And who is it? It said, I don't know, it was like Peter Drucker or something. He was like, things grow where attention grows, whatever the quote is. I've totally butchered that. Sorry. I'll look it up in the break. But things don't just happen around you. If you put some intentionality into it, that's when you can go, okay, well, our list size is this, we want to grow it. And what are we going to do to grow it? Okay. So just putting that down, and you can break that down. It will automatically update in the spreadsheet. What's the list growth? What's the average signups per day? What I do notice though, is that some of my social media stats, they're growing and changing all the time. So people are arriving and people are leaving. And so sometimes you don't know until you dig into the data. I noticed this on my Instagram. I was like, oh my God, we're only growing at like 1% a month, but we had a lot of people leaving every month, and the new people, I was like, oh, get excited about the new people, so you can dig into that a little bit, but just having that stat of going, I've had people who say to me, I want to make $1 million this year. And I go, great, what's your list size? And they'll be like, oh, I've only got like 50 people on my list. And it's like, well, where are these people? Where are your sales going to come from? do you have a podcast that has a lot of listeners? Oh no, I'm just going to manifest it. And I go, I love manifesting. I believe in manifesting, but where are these people going to come from? Like, marketing is manifesting too. Marketing is manifesting the buzz, the clients, the opportunity for people to buy. It really is. So the other stats that might be interesting, do not worry if you don't know some of this stuff, right? I realized recently, I'm like, I don't even know how many people are visiting the website at the moment. I don't even know what pages they're visiting. So I've directed my team, okay, I know the last couple of years we've just been growing and throwing things at the wall. We've got some time. So let's sit down and make sure that that it's actually working. Because there would be points where we're like, oh, we don't have Google Analytics on our website. Can we fix that, please? And so now's the time. If you don't have any stats, that's totally okay. So if you use a blogging system, they might be able to tell you how many people are visiting your website and crucially what pages they're visiting. And if you don't know, great, that's fine. You can try and get that on Google Analytics or find out from your blog system if you can put a little pixel and find out, because this information is power. The other reason it is power is because I know I've got a lot of things to fix on my website. It's become bloated. There's lots of old pictures everywhere. There's a lot of things. And I want to prioritize in what order we do that, because I don't want us to spend a whole bunch of time working on something that no one ever sees. And similarly with our opt-ins, I want to see the stats of the conversion for it, but which one's the most popular? Because I want to optimize that one first. Okay, so you might find, like I did a couple of years ago, I went, oh my God, my about page, that is the most popular that's the most popular page on my website. So we need to make sure we optimize that. What information do we need to have on there? Is there a call to action on there? Is there updated pictures? You know, and recently I did find I did a photo shoot. It was a very casual photo shoot. It wasn't my normal one where, you know, like I did have a little bit of hair and makeup, but I was like, oh, I won't put my hair extensions in. You know, I won't bother with like lashes and stuff. And you might think, well, that doesn't make that much of a difference. But in photo shoots, it really can. Like, you can still look really natural, but natural in real life and natural in photos is completely different. So what I noticed when I looked at this site, I was like, oh my God, my team has put those photos up and they're not good photos. And I was like, oh my God, you know, especially on those important pages, like, guys, no. So that's why it's really important to do those things. And also things like let me just start again. Things like the conversion rate. Okay, so this happened to me a couple of years ago. I went on maternity leave. I know just kind of things got a little bit messy. I came back and we'd just done a bit of a rebrand, and I looked at the stats and I went, guys, all of our opt-ins are converting at half what they used to. What is going on? And what we realized is we'd done this huge rebrand and the opt-in pages looked too complicated. People weren't sure what to click on, right? So because it was when I had a lot of bees in the branding and I loved it. It looked beautiful, but it was not good on those opt-in pages where they should be really simple. They should be mobile optimized. People were like, do I click on this bee? Like, do I click on this thing that's flying in? A lot of our buttons, I changed it to be like, you know, get my thing now, instead of just like submit or simple stuff, right? And so literally all my conversions halved. And I was like, no, I would not have known that if I hadn't checked in with it. So I know it sounds like annoying sometimes, or, you know, you're scared or you don't know how to find the information, but even just the real basics of this, whoever does your opt-in pages, there should be a way to find the conversions on there. And you have to check in on those because you don't know when something's changed, the software thing has changed, broken links, things aren't going to the right place, things are outdated. You just need to just check on those, right? So you can add all of those little stats in there. All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll talk about the next part of like the marketing, a little bit of a marketing audit that we're doing. All right, see you in a sec. It's your time and you're ready for the next step. It's your time and you're ready for the next step. It's your time and you're totally ready for the next step. So many times we are waiting for the perfect moment, for all of the green lights, or for someone else to tap us on the shoulder and say, you're ready. but it has to come from inside you. And you can declare yourself ready now. Put your hand on your heart and try it with me. It's my time, and I'm ready for the next step. If you know deep in your heart, even if you're scared, that you're ready to let go of some of your money fears and finally profit from your skills and talents, it's time to get to work. Your next step is to come and join us in Money Bootcamp. You can work with me as your money mindset mentor and join our beautiful community so you can really give yourself permission to make money and change the world. Click below to find out more, but don't wait any longer. Come and join us today. We're ready for you, and it's your time, and you're ready for the next step. Okay, welcome back. So we're talking about what audits I'm doing in my business at the moment and what ones that you should be doing as well. So that assessment that I'm talking about is just a Google spreadsheet. It's really simple. It's at denisedt.com/assessment. And the first things is just finding out some of your basic stats, finding out some of your basic numbers, okay? The next part here is marketing. So again, I'll hear people go, oh, I want to make this, big launch this year, and they're not doing any marketing. Or they go, well, I only want to send out marketing stuff when I feel like it or when I've got something to say. And I've been doing this for a long time, like literally for 12, 13 years, I've been sending out something every single week, whether that's a newsletter, a blog post, a long form video, whatever, every single week. And I made that commitment because I heard someone talk about it from an online business. They were like, send out a newsletter every week. And I went, I will. And actually now my simple marketing plan is social media once a day, something, whether it's a know, like, and trust factor thing, a teaching thing, engagement, whatever it is, every single day. And I do batch those ahead of time. And then something every single week. So we send out 2 newsletters a week. And, if you're not on my newsletter list, make sure you get on the newsletter list. We try and be helpful. It's always something that's a tip or an inspiration or something. Because, you do need to be top of mind for people. And I think that's been my biggest success in business is just consistent marketing, is that I've always just shown up. I'm just in people's brains all the time, whether you listen to this podcast and you go, oh yeah, I remember that thing that Denise said, or it becomes then your branding becomes part of that memory stuff too. So when people see a blue combi, they'll be like, oh, I saw this and I thought of you. Or people will send me pictures of clothing that they think I like, oh, I saw this and I thought of you. And even though at ballet, I don't talk about my business, people will be like, oh, Denise, you wear blue stuff. That's your color. And then someone will come in a blue leotard and they'll be like, oh, I'm wearing your color today. That sort of stuff is marketing too. Right? It's showing up, it's being part of people's lives, it's being the go-to person, it's being a helpful, consistent presence in people's lives. And I've never once thought of marketing as salesy and horrible, because I just go, I'm just going to show up and be helpful. And the people who want to hear from me will continue to show up and listen. The people who don't, they'll self-select out, right? But there's work that goes behind that. So I come into the podcast studio 4 times a year. This year, I've front loaded it into the first quarter. Social media stuff, I sat down in February and I posted something almost every day for the whole rest of the year. And I can do that because I know what my brand is. I've got a lot of photos and videos, and I wasn't reinventing the wheel, right? So I can do that. You might feel very overwhelmed with that. But even my dance teacher recently, she goes, oh, Denise, you'll be so proud of me. I've batched content for the next couple of months. And I was like, yes. Once you get that in your head and you go, wow, it's not about me and my preferences. And when I feel like doing something, it's being a consistent message and presence in people's lives. So they think of me when they need X. And they need to see it again and again. And back on the dance example, with my dance school now, I go 7 times a week. I do 7 lessons a week there. But I had so many blocks to signing up for it. And I had to see them marketing it again and again to be like, oh, will I go? Oh, what if like, what if I'm not good anymore? What if it sucks? And so the fact that she sent out those marketing messages helped me to remember, oh yes, I need to book in for a free lesson. Oh yes, I need to do it. And so your marketing should be that. It should be reminders and helpful and not something that feels horrible. So in that assessment, it's like, how many blog posts have we got done ahead of time? Newsletters, how many marketing emails have we sent? You do not need to record all of this, but I find that when someone is feeling bad about their business and sales haven't come in, it is helpful to sit down and go, okay, honestly, how many newsletters did we send out in January? How many emails did we send out? You might be going, oh, no one's wanting me on their podcast. How many pitches did you send out? How many podcast pitches? How many new affiliates did we sign up? How many new, and there's space for you to add your own. How many new members in our membership did we get? How many discovery calls did I do this month? How many, sell by chat conversations have we started? How many opt-ins versus how many sales we had? Like that's in the next section. But just being honest about that is really powerful. Oh my God, I've got so many ballet examples today. Another ballet example for me too is when I was a kid, I only did one ballet class a week and I did mostly tap and jazz. So ballet was this real mystery to me. I'd see these amazing people and I think I could never do that. Now that I'm going to ballet regularly, I realize that there is a progression. It's like, oh, if you do your calf rises, then you can do a releve. If you can do a releve on one foot, then you can do a turn. If you work on, really strengthening your ankles, you can do a double turn. It's an inevitable progression. And it's not like, oh, I have to be smarter, I have to be better. It's like, oh, if I do these things, then I'll get better at that. If I do that, then I'll get better at that. And I never thought about it like that before in exercise, because some things I still think I've got to fear, like I'm just not good at that. I can never do that. And I know that in business, the progression works too. If you show up on social media and make offers, you'll get people signing in for your opt-ins. If you get people signing on for your opt-ins and they read your newsletter, they'll buy your next thing. And it does follow a statistical kind of thing. Where people get in trouble is that they start to internalize that and go, well, I didn't get the results, so I must be horrible. And it's like, but you just don't have the numbers. So get the numbers. And this is how you get the numbers. You want those sales, you have to do the discovery sessions. If you want the discovery sessions, you probably have to do some marketing and make those offers. And then on the sales thing, it is really useful just to go baseline, how many did we sell of X, Y, Z? And what's selling right now? Are people buying on payment plans? Are they buying pay in full? Because I think sometimes too, we don't have that information. We don't know. And I don't know at the moment. That's why I'm doing this myself. I wouldn't even have a clue how many people are buying bootcamp out of a sales period. Our e-course is selling at the moment. I don't. I'm just not across it. And I need to be, because I need to put that intention back into the business, especially since I noticed that with my husband, Mark, he still doesn't sometimes believe in passive income. He's just not doing the money mindset work as much as I am. And so I know that when I put my intention in it and do the behind the scenes stuff too, of making sure people can see it, making sure we're making offers, then it will happen. But when you're not putting attention into it, it's really hard for things to grow. Okay, so you've got those stats in there to be like, what is my sales page converting at the moment? How many sales calls do I need to get one sale at the moment? Because that information, it's power, and it is also confidence building, right? Because it's easy to give up before you harvest. We talk about this a lot in launching too, is that I've seen people quit because they didn't get the sales that they wanted, but the stats were actually really good. The stats were exactly on what they should be, but they just hadn't looked at it. So then they're internalizing it and going, well, I'm a loser and nobody wants my things. And it's like, well, no, enough people didn't see it. So now you've got to grow some of those things, right? And then once you've got those real basics in place, then you can tweak things. And I will say, I've never had a super complicated funnel, ever, because I love the idea of funnel optimization. It just tickles my, but we've never done it really well. You know, because some people go, well, if you've got the funnel there, you can tweak this and then tweak this and tweak this and tweak this and tweak this. And I'm like, all of that sounds really complicated. So I'll tell you the best things for us that have worked is literally making the offer. Okay, and you've probably heard me talk about this. You've probably seen it in my book, but I talk about how I've got my money blocks audio, and it's like on 10th different version or whatever. But really early on, I remember saying to my web team, I was like, oh, we should take that down. It's not good. It's like, oh, I don't even make a good offer. Like there was no like countdown on the page. There was no follow-up stuff. It was just me saying, here are some money blocks I see. If you have them, here are some solutions. Oh, and by the way, I have a money boot camp if you want to join. And my guy who was looking at my stats, he goes, you know, like 2% of people buy money boot camp just from that page. And so he was like, 25,000 people have seen that audio. X percent have gone through. That's made you like $200,000. And I was like, oh, but it's not even good. And I was going to get rid of it rather than tweak it. I was like, let's just get rid of it until it's perfect. And how many times have we said that, right? We've gone, well, I'll just have nothing until it's perfect. No, it's okay to have things that are imperfect, but you just need that information. And like, if without that information, I would have just gotten rid of it. And now, of course, like we can make it a little bit better. We can have a pixel on there so then we can retarget people. But even that we don't do super well, you know? And so sometimes the best sales thing you can have is literally just to exist. And so I'll link it in the show notes too, but I did a blog article a couple of years ago where I bought 64 e-courses in one day. I spent like $6,000, and I did it just to kind of, you know, pump up my community and be like, don't worry, people are still buying. Let me, you know, show some faith here. But actually I saw a lot of mistakes, and I did a massive big blog post about it, about people who had really cluttered sales pages, or it wasn't easy to find how to buy. You made it really complicated. The checkout process was complicated. There was a lot of little subtle things that made it really hard for me to spend that money quickly. And for some people I persevered, and other people I was like, oh, I'm just going to move on and buy something else. Because you made it too hard for me. And so over and above all of these ideas of some of these, you know, like stats and stuff, is to really go with a fresh eye. And that's what I'm doing at the moment, is to look at everything with a fresh eye, with those stats of like what's most popular, and to go, is this still on brand for me? Is this something that I still want to convey? Is this useful? Is it helpful? But not to take things away, to improve what's already there, and to make sure that am I making an offer? Am I making it too hard for people to buy? Am I making it clear? Like even some people still today will say to me, oh, I'll join the next round of Money Bootcamp. And I go, it hasn't been like that for 8 years. You can join any time and just join the next monthly call. So I'm like, oh, am I like answering the right questions? Am I up to date with like the energy of the moment? And actually when I've redone my books, like, and done new editions, most of the time I'm not changing things. And same when I re-record Money Bootcamp, by the way, I'm not changing the whole thing. Sometimes just little energy tweaks and changes in words or language, or words that aren't in use anymore, or I don't know, just little nuances shift and change. That's what you want to be looking for as well. And when you do that, it does give you a bit of a fresh, renewed excitement for your business. And also it makes it easier for people to buy. So if you've been giving mixed messages, or there's stuff that you don't, you know, want to offer anymore, that's the stuff to look for. Okay, so I don't want this audit to be stressful for you. It's not to show up everything you're doing wrong. It's just to give you information. It really is. And then you can decide where you want to tweak. Sometimes you tweak, you know, the behind the scenes stuff. Sometimes you tweak the front end branding, but simple always works best. Okay, I've got one final thought for you after this break. See you in a sec. And what do you remember about boot camp? What are the lessons that you used to
major ones. I think some of the other ladies here said it's the container of the Facebook group, and it's a safe space to talk about money, to be encouraged to talk about money, whether that's debt, leveling up, making $100,000 in a day. Like I remember showing that post to my husband going, like, this happens. This is real. And seeing that possibility and coming from the mindset of there is endless abundance. and the universe is never in recession. And when we see other people do it, it clarifies that it's possible for us. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that just having a safe space to talk about successes and understanding that we have similar, frustrations and fears and worries about, tax and accountants and all the rest of it. And that your mum guilt comes in, and like you mentioned earlier before, and that you've made your bed and you need to lie in it. Well, no, we can pivot and we can change and make our business the best way that it suits us. I think that's one of the biggest. Permission is a big one that I've gotten from your courses, is that it's clarity on that I get to do it my way, and there's no other reason that I need to fit into a box to make anyone else happy. And so I think incremental upgrades has been one of the big ones for me.
Hi, my final thought is around perfectionism, because I feel like so many of us procrastinate creating things in the first place because we want it to be perfect. So I want you to remember that lesson from my money blocks thing. It's just making that offer was better than nothing. So if you're procrastinating creating a sales page, or you're not sure what to tweak and change, like literally simplify the heck out of things. And you can add stuff on later, right? One of my lovely friends and boot campers, she came to my retreat, Amy Cook, and someone was going, I don't know which one to create first, this one or this one, I don't. And she goes, oh my God, it will sell better if it exists. And we all just went, oh yes, like, of course it will. And so that's the same with anything. You think, oh, my book's not perfect, or, I don't know what kind of sales page. It's like, just make it available for people and tweak things as you go. And just make sure you're just being as clear and clean as possible. Okay, so that's what I'm focused on at the moment, just to make sure that I'm on track. I'm going in the right direction, that things are working. And also, like, one thing I didn't even mention here too is just look for broken links, just look for things that aren't working, declutter, and that makes a real shift. Okay, but you don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to do it all at once. So remember that simple spreadsheet is denisedt.com/assessment. And easy peasy breezy lemon squeezy. It'll sell better if it exists. And perfectionism, it's not what people are buying. Okay, so make it easy for people to buy from you. All right, so my friend, I'll see you next week. On another episode in Chill and Prosper. Go forth, do a bit of light decluttering. Bye.
Start your business for the freedom of time. Now you're tired of the hustle and grind. There's gotta be a better way. It's time to listen to Chill and Prosper. Welcome to Chill and Prosper. You're ready to chill and prosper with Denise Duffield-Thomas.